The video you are about to watch was made for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the content creators themselves and should not be taken personally. So sit back and enjoy.
No one's ready for this conversation, which is energy doesn't cost anything. You know what I mean? Like, it is a manufactured thing to make money.
I think it's Newton's third law, and I could be mistaken, but energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. So energy just exists in abundance everywhere all the time.
Show me a person who created free energy, and I'll show you a person who died mysteriously.
Nikola Tesla.
Every single time, dude.
Documentaries on him are wild.
Yeah.
He's an alien. He even had an alien haircut, like the part in the middle.
Yeah.
The weird mustache. But he did some really cool shit.
Not that he was normal, right? But anybody who is an inventor, somebody who creates a patent, somebody who figures something out, whether it's a water-powered car, there's been like recycled oiled power cars, people generating free electricity out of vibrational plates, and even like harnessing waterfalls and stuff and creating like automated pumps that generate electricity and stuff that don't cost any money to run. And what happens is the government swoops in and either kills those people or absorbs their creation and says, oh, this is a matter of national security. And then they take their patent number and it disappears off the USPTO website. Yeah. And it's like, oh, what happened to that? And it's like, oh, you know, they went crazy and killed themselves. And it's like, oh, what happened to their invention? It's like, we don't know.
Anybody else starting to realize that all politicians are pretty much corrupt, evil pieces of shit and they do not serve us? I mean, they're living like kings and queens off of our money. They get the salaries, then they get insider trading. And then, you know, maybe donors or, you know, any other backroom under the table deals get done while we just continue grinding away like little slaves. And that's what they want. They want people to stay divided and distracted. But once you realize that every single one of them, left, right, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, are evil, corrupt pieces of shit, then you wake up to the fact that this whole thing is fake and it's one giant illusion. But don't listen to me. I'm just crazy. I just point out the fact that they have literally done nothing to serve us. They've all gotten richer and richer and richer, but we've all gotten poorer and poorer and poorer. And everything just kind of is sucking more and more every day. It's good to have a positive outlook on it, though, because we're all going to die eventually.
He renamed the big, beautiful bill. Yes, he renamed it. It's public fact. You can't even hide it. You can even look this up on ChatGPT. The big, beautiful bill was renamed the Working Families Tax Cuts in Working Families Tax Act. He didn't add any cuts in there other than corporations. This should be illegal. This should be illegal to take that pile of, repackage it, and submit it onto the floor like somebody is dumb. And thank you to the people in Congress that haven't lost their mind. It depends on the day. It's either Republican or it's Democrat or it's independent. But thank you for saying something. Because what? And this is a part of his propaganda. He's flooding us with so much, hoping that so much sleeps through, and a lot has. And this all goes back to Project 2025.
It turns out billionaires, politicians, and economists really have just been gaslighting us for the last 3 years. Yesterday, an explosive economics report was released by a think tank out of DC confirming what you and I and everyday Americans have been screaming from the rooftops for the past 3 years, that these record high price increases that we've experienced in everything from gasoline, lumber, poultry, eggs, and diapers haven't actually been being driven up by necessities, supply chain issues, COVID recovery, or labor shortages. No. It turns out that 53% of all price increases that have quite literally bankrupted middle America have now in fact been confirmed to have been driven by one singular thing: billionaire corporate greed and their record and relentless pursuit of profits.
All right, Trumpers, come and get me. Hey, listen, we've got major breaking news. We've got 7 countries that are out of fuel, but here's the worst part about it. The United States just got their last shipment of oil. Yes, motor oil at the stores will be short. Diesel fuel will be short. Diesel oil will be short. Gasoline for cars is going to be short. All because your president that you voted for, if you're a MAGA fan, is out for his own personal financial gain. Like, this is not how we run America. This is not how America needs to be treated. We need to be doing everything that we can to help the American people. The heck with this war, and this continues to happen. Like, this could be major problems for gas. You're going to see gas soar over the next week. There's no question about it. Here in Georgia, Governor Kemp actually cut our gas tax to our fuel dropped about 20 to 30 cents, but it's still hovering at about 3.80. It's probably going to shoot past $4. If he hadn't have done that, we'd be at $4.50 a gallon or more. California is probably going to start pushing 7 and 8. Maybe some of you guys that follow me from California can let me know.
Y'all see the mayor of Chicago calling for a strike? Watch this.
There are some billionaires and corporate leaders that want us to have sympathy for them, and they have just received the greatest tax cuts at the expense of healthcare and housing and education and transportation and good paying jobs. So here's what we need to do in this moment. If my ancestors as slaves can lead the greatest general strike in the history of this country, taking it to the ultra-rich and big corporations, we can do the same today. I'm calling on black people, white people, brown people, Asian people, immigrants, gay people from around this country to stand up against tyranny and to send a clear message to the ultra-rich and big corporations. We are going to make them pay their fair share in taxes to fund our schools, to fund jobs, to fund healthcare, to fund transportation. Democracy will live on because of this generation.
That's how you lead, Brandon. From now on, that's how you lead.
Did you hear what just happened in the Netherlands? If you didn't, watch this.
This is an emergency SOS call from the Netherlands. All hope is lost. Please save us. I'm calling on the international community to do something about the extreme disease that is in charge of the Netherlands. Just tonight, our parliament discussed a new law that will allow 2 men to donate DNA material to create a joint embryo out of 2 men, meaning a child born of 2 men. And will also allow a single person to mate with themselves to produce a self-fertilized egg and then create a child with only one biological parent. This comes after the Netherlands legalized gay marriage, after we had the first gay prime minister, after we invented the Dutch protocol, which is an unscientific, unproven way of castrating a man and then giving him a fake vagina with tissue from out of his ass. I'm not kidding about that. We're allowing euthanasia of children from ages 12 and up, and 16 and 17-year-olds can have themselves euthanized without their parental consent. We are also allowing, under the Groningen Protocol, the euthanasia of children up to 1 year old. So if you don't like your child, you can get rid of it after it's been born. Of course, we have abortion up to birth, right? We had the world's first pedophile party taking part in our elections. My God, I can't do this anymore. I wasn't born to grow up in this Sodom and Gomorrah of the world. I am of the opinion that this country needs to be vaporized. And I hereby call upon President Donald Trump, on President Putin of Russia, and the Ayatollah of Iran to point your nuclear rockets at this country and blast it to shits. Away with this. This cannot heal without first bombing it to the ground.
Because what you mean, the church is on their bullshit again. They got a new grift, right? So here it is. They go after their members who completely outright own their home, like completely paid off. And then they convince that member or tell that member to sell that home. And then the church buys that home, right? And then, everything the church owns is tax exempt. Then they convince that member to start paying rent to the church, for the home that the church now owns. So you went from owning your home to now having to pay rent to the church forever. And some of these people are out here doing it. This shit is insane. Because what you mean, the church is on their bullshit again. They got a new grift, right? So here it is. They go after their members who completely outright own their home, like completely paid off. And then they convince that member or tell that member to sell that home. And then the church buys that home, right? And then, everything the church owns is tax exempt. Then they convince that member to start paying rent to the church, for the home that the church now owns. So you went from owning your home to now having to pay rent to the church forever. And some of these people are out here doing it. This shit is insane.
It's crazy to think that most of the history that we've learned over the past 50 to 70 years was written by Ghislaine Maxwell Dad's publishing company.
During the Great Depression, the government paid farmers to burn their own crops because basically they were losing money because nobody could afford the prices of vegetables, crops, and other things. So farmers were like, what do we do with all of this produce? We don't know what to do. And the government was like, instead of giving it to the people who are dying of hunger, we'll pay you to burn it.
There is a new drug out there. It is worse than fentanyl. It is more addictive than heroin. And people from all political persuasions have fallen for it. It is a drug we all have to avoid. Ladies and gentlemen, we must just say no to the drug of AIPAC, of foreign money, of foreign influence in our elections.
Every single textbook we got as a kid came from a Mossad agent. By the way, McGraw-Hill, you know who started that? Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Robert Maxwell owns, every single textbook we got as a kid came from a Mossad agent.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
Not my Texas history book. not all 11 of them.
Okay, who is McGraw-Hill? They made all the textbooks, right? You ever look at your textbook?
When you were a little kid, it was made by McGraw-Hill.
Oh, that's the publisher.
That's the publisher.
Oh my God. That was apparently founded by Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend's dad.
This is how evil the Epsteins were. Not only were they kids, they were also giving them homework.
Yes.
It's like, damn, bro.
That's messed up.
That's crazy.
Big ass books too.
I know, right?
Carry these around your backpack.
You had to cover the book yourself.
Yeah.
You had to give it its own yarmulke.
Oh my God, dude. We did. That was the thing. We had to cover our own books. They wanted us to cover it up so you couldn't see who made it.
I wonder what company owns the book cover.
I don't know.
The company that takes all the school pictures.
No, you're right. That's big news right now.
Yeah.
Are you schools this year are canceling their school pictures because of this connection?
Yeah, the company is heavily connected to Epstein.
So they've been sending their photos over there too?
Probably. That's
just picking us out. Just picking us out of the school yearbook. They have a draft board, Mel Kiper style, of every picture of every kid in America.
Yeah,
and they're just sitting there.
Yeah, like a fantasy draft.
I am never making fun of a homeschool kid again.
Look at all the big name brand companies that Zios control or indirectly control, like through BlackRock. And these are all the big companies that are being boycotted. But notice this too. All these big, wonderful companies that we grew up around, that we loved our entire lives, like Disney and McDonald's, companies that contributed greatly to our society, like Microsoft and Ford, the Zio did not make them. They did not create these companies and build them. They just control them. They gained control of them through the stock market, through other underhanded means. They didn't build that. They took other people's hard work, took other people's great efforts. They took it, they politicized it, they profited off of it, and they used that to direct you and make more profits. And if you spend decades building a big successful business, they'll take that from you too. They hijacked our whole entire economy. Look at all these big name brands. Our free market is just an illusion. It's like a state-controlled economy, but not even our own state. It's a foreign state who controls our state-controlled economy. A perfect free market economy doesn't self-sustain anyway. Individuals, groups, or even foreign countries will always try and monopolize, which is exactly what happened here. And it's really up to our government to prevent this sort of stuff and maintain a free market, or maintain private ownership, and protect that private ownership from these type of shenanigans. And hopefully someday these companies can be freed again, depoliticized, just focus on their business and nobody will need to boycott them. In the process of hijacking our economy, they're also ruining it.
Mr. Brando, why did you refuse the Academy Award last year?
I refused it because of the increasing control of Zionists in Hollywood. They own the studios, they shape the stories, they decide who gets heard and who doesn't. I saw it clearly, and I couldn't be part of that system anymore.
Get a load of this. Posted April 18th at 9:36 and quickly deleted by his night nurse. Watch.
Ashaka Shan La La.
So DT was born on a moon eclipse in 1946, and it happened to be the same eclipse that Aleister Crowley wrote to a friend about Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard trying to create a moon baby that would grow up to become the Antichrist out in the desert. What if he is that moon baby?
Trump wanted to use the nuclear codes, and General Dan Kane stood up and said no.
That was former CIA analyst Larry Johnson reporting on what he heard took place at the White House just a couple of nights ago. If true, we should all be scared to death.
So you mean to tell me it was okay for Nick Shirley to go to Minnesota and discover all the fraud in the Somali community, but when Tyler Oliveira goes to Lakewood, New Jersey and discovers the exact same type of fraud in the Orthodox Jewish community, he is now canceled and anti-Semitic? I'm trying to figure out how that works when nobody is saying anything about anybody's ethnicity or religion. It's the point that they're all committing fraud. It's not, no one cares that they're Jewish and this and that. No, it's the shit that they're doing over there. So all the MAGA influencers decide to bombast Tyler and Nick Shirley now, when just last week they were national.
They allow for all of this to happen.
Right. So basically what's going on is they get married in the church. Okay. But the state of New Jersey does not recognize the Jewish marriage on paper with the state. So what happens is the females are allowed to stay home and pump out 5-6 kids. They collect the benefits because they're not married. And it goes on everywhere. Like every one of these houses, I guarantee, or not everyone, but majority, they're married couples within the Jewish church, but the state doesn't recognize it. And then they're able to collect all these benefits. So, you know, you hate on this, but the alternative, if you want this, is just not get married.
Right.
Right. This is the lesson in Lakewood, New Jersey. If you get married on paper with the state, they will handcuff you to the point where you can only have one kid because you can't afford to have multiple kids. But here, they live on the system. But that system was created. They just know how to use it better than us.
Well, it's not just that. It's people learn, they read, they educate themselves. So the pathway to getting things in life is through understanding, not tolerance. All of this has come from the tolerant left.
The DOJ is 122 days overdue for releasing Jeff's files. Pam Bondi still hasn't been deposed, and Cash is allegedly too drunk to investigate. Are you tired of winning yet?
So Trump just tweeted, "I am willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military." That's what he's trying to put in the minds of all American citizens. Trump is now telling MAGA that we should agree to give up our rights for the greater good. He wants us to agree to allow the federal government to spy on us via FISA. Anyone still supporting this man is a fraud. He has done a full 180 on MAGA and is a war hawk neocon. Well, of course, I mean, he's about to pass away anyway, so he's just going to do whatever the hell he wants to make as much money as for his family and make sure his family stays on top. It's not the military I worry about. It's the FBI and the CIA and the others we have inside our government that weaponize and abuse the system. They have already demonstrated that they will abuse it. So guys, do not give up your rights, even if they say it's for the greater good of our military against Iran. Dude, come on, bro. Y'all gotta wake up.
Destroy, baby, destroy, because these governments have lost their fucking mind trying to nickel and dime us out of every single fucking thing. Now, one of the one joys people have, the beach, you want to charge them to be able to park at the beach. They were like, we will show you, you're going to have to spend more money having to fix these machines than we will spend going to the beach. And if you don't like it, what are you going to do about it? And this is what people need to realize. If enough people have had enough, which clearly a lot of us Americans have, there needs to be some pushback. And I'm not saying throw your livelihood away or anything like that. That is up to you to justify what's good and what's not. But if governments are going to be playing in your face and they're going to try and nickel and dime you when they ain't paying you enough, shit like this needs to continue to happen. Because why do you need to nickel and dime to go to the beach? One of the few enjoyments we get just to be able to bask and enjoy and have to spend nothing. But you want us to spend to go everywhere. We are sick of your late stage capitalism and you trying to nickel and dime everything. And more of this shit will happen unless y'all finally get a clue and figure this shit out and pay us a living wage.
They're building an underground bunker under the White House to defend themselves. They know the economy is going to crash. They know it is about to get ugly. They know people are actually about to start getting upset. They know a depression is coming. They are building themselves a bunker under the fucking White House to protect themselves from the population once the people flip this bitch.
When I tell you that Donald Trump is destroying America, this is the kind of thing I mean. 11 top energy nuclear scientists in America dead, missing, murdered. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows where the missing ones are. One person walking on a trail with a companion. She turns around. He's gone. Another walks out of his house, leaves his glasses and phone behind, disappears. One shot on his front porch at 6 a.m. Another murdered by someone disguised as a delivery person. This is straight out of James Bond. Is this energy companies killing competition? Is this a foreign government eliminating our top scientists? We have no idea. So who's in charge? Who's going to deal with something this big? Well, here is the House Oversight Committee chair, a Trump ass-kissing Republican, telling us exactly how bad this problem is.
These people that have either died or are missing now, these were the leaders in the research and helping to ensure that we stay the leader in nuclear technology. So that's why it's a concern. Every country wants to have our type of nuclear.
That's right. It's a very big deal. Now, first of all, is it a job description if you support Trump that you're so dumb you can't complete a sentence? Listen to this man. I am so sick of it. These Republicans can't even finish a sentence. They don't even have a cogent thought. Of course they're not going to catch a killer or find out the mystery person trying to destroy our nuclear technology, let alone when the head of the FBI is so drunk, apparently, they can't even rouse him out of bed. Donald Trump is a menace to society.
Hi, here's another list of things I find worthy of revolution. Number 1, politicians voting no for firefighters getting benefits who fought the fires on 9/11, despite the fact that every one of them posted on Twitter that we should never forget 9/11. Your words don't match your actions. Revolution. Number 2, politicians voting no to raise the minimum wage, despite the fact that they couldn't live on minimum wage. If it's good enough for your constituents, why isn't it good enough for you? Revolution. Number 3, having 2 college degrees and only being offered $15 an hour. That's crazy. Revolution. Number 4, the adoption industry profiting off of selling children. I've said this one before, and I just cannot get it out of my head. Revolution. Number 5, prison companies building larger prisons in areas with low test scores with our tax dollars rather than those tax dollars going to the schools themselves to help the children get better test scores. It's almost like they want to profit off of these kids going to jail. Revolution. Number 6, 98% of this walking away with 0 consequences. And you wonder why women don't come forward. Revolution. Number 7, 18 states allow for rapists to have parental rights. Revolution. Number 8, 2 jobs still not being enough to cover just basic necessities. In the greatest country on earth. Lies. Revolution.